Good morning, everyone. I'm really glad you're joining me. I hope these daily art prompts or every couple of daily art prompts are useful to you, and that we can use our changed schedule to do some things and to think about text and tefillah and our lives and the world in some different ways. So. I'm recording a video today. We'll see if we keep doing it that way. Maybe some days I'll just write it. We'll see how it goes. So for today's art prompts, we're going to take inspiration from yesterday's Daf Yomi. For those who don't know, the Talmud, which is made up of dafim, is studied on a 7.5-year cycle where one daf or page is learned each day. And yes, the Talmud is that long. It takes 7.5 years to study it if you do one page a day. And even probably longer if you study it properly. The cycle just completed, actually, and restarted again back in January. And we're at the beginning now of Masechet Shabbat, which is the tractate or volume of Talmud, which talks about the dynamics and halachot and all sorts of things about Shabbat. But like in many tractates of Talmud, we find that Masechet Shabbat discusses many other topics as well. On yesterday's daf, which is Shabbat Yud Aleph or Shabbat 11, the rabbis discuss some of the various empires the Jews lived under, among other things. And now I'm actually going to borrow from Rabbi Avi Strasberg of Mechon Hadar, who wrote the summary of, or the reflection on Shabbat 11 for myjewishlearning.com, which is putting out a daily Daf Yomi sort of summary reflection email, which I highly recommend. So sign up if you're interested. So this is her teaching. She says, and then, somewhat unexpectedly, we wind up with a meditation that reads as pure poetry, again from Rava Bar Machasya in the name of Rav Chama Bar Guria in the name of Rav. Here's the quote from the Gemara. Even if all the seas were ink, and the reeds that grow near swamps were quills, and the heavens were parchment, and all the people were scribes, all of these are insufficient. ... End of quote. She continues, stop here for a moment. What could be so difficult to capture in language? Something so vast and wondrous, perhaps even so terrible, that to express it requires such extravagant metaphors. And I'll read for you the quote one more time. The quote says, even if all the seas were ink, and the reeds that grow near swamps were quills, and the heavens were parchment, and all the people were scribes, all of these are insufficient. ... Rabbi Strasberg goes on to explain that in this Gemara, the answer to this, all of these are insufficient to what, turns out to be authority or the power of government. Right? Even if all the seas were ink and all the reeds that grow near swamps were quills, it still couldn't capture the vast power of government and authority. Right? Continuing on from the conversation about Jews living under all these great empires. But let's imagine that Rav's teaching didn't continue to give us an answer that it's about government, and we were just left with Rabbi Strasberg's question. Her question of what could be so difficult to capture in language, something so vast and wondrous, perhaps even so terrible, that to express it requires such extravagant metaphors. What is something in your life that is beyond your usual capacity for language? Something that is so wonderful, so awesome in the technical, in the sort of the big and unimaginable sense of the word, or so difficult that you struggle to capture it in your usual language. Maybe art can help us capture some part of what that is for you. So following along with Rob's metaphor, I'm going to limit myself to ink, different kinds of pens. Where's my camera? Different kinds of pens, ink, and paper. I don't have parchment. If you're comfortable doing so, I encourage also you to share your work when you're done. Or just respond to that idea. What is something that maybe only you can capture in art rather than in language? I encourage you to share your work below if you're comfortable doing that. If not, just enjoy the process. And I'll see you all soon.